Hey guys, wanted to show you another work in progress here. This is my survival bag. I'm not calling it a bug out bag. I'm not calling it a go bag, get home bag, inch bag, nothing like that. This bag is different. I wanted something that would address survival in its most basic form: urban, suburban, rural, wilderness, anything. Your needs never change no matter where you are. And you see all these videos of people, here's my urban bug out bag, here's my wilderness bug out bag, and okay, granted I know a lot of that stuff's cool, and I love gear, and guys, I love gear, you know I love gear, and I will buy gear any chance, any excuse I can, as long as I got money in my pocket. So, I'm not knocking it, but I wanted the bag that addressed solely survival. And when you look at it, and I did work for a search and rescue team for quite a few years, and when you do any research on survival, you realize the first thing that kills people is exposure. Exposure to the elements. Hyper and hypothermia are the number one killers of people in situations. Earthquakes, hurricanes, things like that. If you aren't injured and you don't have, actual mechanical injuries, what people die of is exposure. You can die of exposure very quickly. You can get hyper or hypothermia very fast and die very quickly from them. Second, of course, is water. You can only go 2 to 3 days without water. Even less if you're in a super hot environment. And not only that, but if you drink bad water, you can get really, really super sick from it and hasten your death. So, third, of course, food. You know what, guys? There are literally, you can look and look and look. There are pretty much almost no cases of people starving to death here in North America. I mean, they're literally, do all the research you want. It is very difficult to find stories of people starving to death. And in fact, the only time you ever hear about it is people who are on hunger strikes. And that itself is pretty rare. It takes literally a month to 2 months to die of starvation. So, very difficult to do. So, food is not top priority. When it comes to survival bags, it seems like a lot of people get it wrong. They focus on food, getting food, fishing kits, hunting stuff, traps. Food is the least of your concerns. I see people who go and they have nothing to provide them with shelter, almost nothing to provide them with water, and they got backpacks full of knives and guns and traps and fishing kits and things like that, but those aren't what's going to kill you first. So this bag, in philosophy, is addressing what's going to kill you first. So I'm not looking to do some crazy bug out bag where I've got all this fancy gear and crazy stuff. No, this is survival. This is a bag I want to be able to keep in my car in place of a get home bag. I don't want, a lot of this. I want something basically that if I'm sleeping in a emergency shelter, at a friend's house, in my car, or in the woods, that I can survive. Not be comfortable, not have good bushcraft skills, just survive. Plain, simple, survive. And to do that, we have to address those basic needs that we have, which is shelter, water, food, security. So, shelter. I went kind of fancy. I went with the UST tube tarp. Had this here, and I've tested it out. I really like it, so I decided this is going to be part of this kit permanently. So inside of here, I also have about a handful of tent stakes, and there's guy lines already attached to this, so there's plenty of rope involved in this. It's pretty lightweight, it's pretty compact, and it makes a good waterproof shelter. And not only that, guys, but you can use it as a waterproof sleeping bag cover or a bivy bag as well by setting it up in different ways, or you can just use it as a tarp to protect you from the sun. If you're getting hot, you're caught out in the direct sun in the desert, having something you can get under to get the sun off you, very, very important. And that is, once again, that primary thing. Protecting yourself from the elements. Being able to take this tube tent and stuff it full of dry leaves and grass and ferns and create a little bed for yourself where you can keep your own warmth from the cold. Yes. Use it as a sun shelter to get the sun off you. Yes. In both ways, it will protect you from the elements. It will keep you dry, and it will keep you from having that issue. So, dry, warm, cool. It will work. Second, poncho. This is that Dry Ducks poncho. Man, was it tough getting it back in the bag, but I did it. It's lightweight, it's small, Once again, keeps you dry, keeps you warm. This is a really good item. You put this on, you're going to be warm. These things really hold in a lot of heat. I know they're breathable, but man, if you're working, you get hot. Putting these on at night when you're laying down, putting these on over your clothes is another barrier and will also help, keep you warm. If you're cold at night, you can stuff this full of anything that will create insulation and use it as a as a means to stay dry. You can use it as a ground cloth to keep you off the wet ground. You can use it as a poncho for the rain, to get the sun off you, whatever. Once again, shelter. And you can also take this thing, guys, roll up a bunch of leaves in it, grass, ferns, whatever, and make it like an air mattress almost. Get you up off the ground, insulate you from the ground, keeps you warmer. Once again, shelter, most important thing. Hyper or hypothermia will kill you first. In here is just some little bits of rope. Not for any purpose other than hanging that tarp, that poncho, using it for things like that to protect yourself from the elements. There's not a ton, just enough to hang the tarps and a little bit extra in case they break or rip or whatever. Once again, helping with that shelter, I got these couple of these Night Eyes carabiners. If I'm hurt, I have an arm injured, I'm not going to be able to tie knots. Hurt my hand, break my hand, whatever. I want something where I can set up that tarp very, very quickly. I want something that will let me do things very quickly with the minimal amount of effort to make my shelter. So I got a couple of these attached. I think that's in the outside pocket. We're not going to pull them all out. We have some of these Walmart Life Raft food. Why? Because there are a lot of calories. You don't have to cook. Mind you guys, if I have to bring cooking gear, that's more weight, more junk. This is about survival in its basest form. This will do. This is enough. So we got a couple of these in there. We have one of these, which I haven't opened, haven't tested, but it's kind of a redundancy. One of these sport utility blankets with the Mylar. Once again, it's something that will get me out of the sun. It will help keep me warm. I can use this as a ground cloth. I can make it into a tarp shelter. You can wrap up in it, wrap up, put yourself into a huge pile of debris and leaves and things like that to keep warm. Put the tarp or the poncho under you. One more thing, and that reflective will help keep your body heat in. These things, if used properly, any kind of space blanket type material, if used properly, will do a great job. These actually work best on bare skin. You take this and wrap it around your body, your trunk, wrap it around you, and then put your clothes over on top of it. It will keep you a lot warmer, trust me. So, got one of these. This is bigger. This is 5x7. This is not your average space blanket there. And it also has grommets. Once again, easy setup. This is about survival, not anything else. So, easy setup. It's got to be. Everything I got, it's got to be easy setup, quick, simple, fast. What if it starts pouring? What if it starts snowing? All that. Everything's got to be quick and fast. This is a work in progress, guys, so don't think I'm complete by any means. Okay, I picked this bag, this Quest bag. This is a knockoff of the Camelback Mule. I own the Camelback Mule, and I love it. And I wanted to use it, but my wife uses it sometimes. So I can't dedicate this to car use. So I got this Quest. It's only 29 bucks. It's literally identical to the Camelback Mule. And it's actually probably stronger than you'll ever need for the little amount of weight that this thing can really carry. So I didn't see any reason to spend 100 bucks on another Camelback when this is just as good. Now what I'm going to do, the hydration bladder it comes with sucks. I'm going to replace that eventually. So wanted to point that out. The idea being, I haven't done this yet, is I'm going to do the hydration bladder with a Sawyer Mini to use as an inline filter. Water being one of the big key survival things, partner for things, is really important. So I want to make sure I have plenty of water and the capability to carry plenty of water. This is New York. We have tons of water here, guys. So I feel like I don't need to keep this filled at all times. But in reality, I can keep a lot of water on me, enough, at least a day or two's worth of water on me at any given time, and filter it as I go along. So until I get that, gotta find it where I put it. Probably buried in here somewhere and I'm not seeing it. Yeah, apparently I lost it. I had a straw filter in here, but it must have fallen out somewhere. Just a straw filter, not for now until the Sawyer comes. I got one ordered, so that'll be here shortly. So, of course, we're leaving this with a plastic sew on, that way it doesn't get contaminated, moldy, anything like that. Got a little carabiner here for holding on to gear. I got my Gerber MP600 attached to it. And where I'm going from here, guys, is the plan is I've covered shelter. I think I have more than enough to stay warm in pretty much any temperature that New York can throw at me. I think with the combination of the tube tent, the solar blanket, and the poncho, that is enough to keep me very, very warm, as long as I'm not out in shorts and a t-shirt in the middle of winter. So, got that covered. I'm feeling confident there. I'm feeling confident I have enough food to last me, easily a week. Because you're not going to eat full rations. You're only going to eat half rations, or maybe even quarter rations. Just enough to keep you functional. So I don't need to cook. I don't need to do anything like that, which is a big bonus. I don't need to boil water, because I will be able to filter it directly. And that's part of the thing, too, is to have that in the Sawyer so I can avoid making fires. Fires are good, but once again, quick, fast, easy. It's not about being the macho bushcraft guy. It's about surviving. And surviving is about being quick, not wasting energy, and not doing things. I mean, yeah, what's the point, if you're going to spend hours trying to make a fire in the rain, to boil water? It's not going to work. You're better off just be able to take that water, throw it in your Camelback and go. And then filter it with the Sawyer. So what I want to add so far is I want to add a fire kit. So I'm going to get a fire steel, basically probably a Bic lighter, and maybe one other source. So there'll be 3 sources for making a fire, because fire is warmth, keeps you from dying. Fire lets you signal people, all those things that keep you from dying. So I'm going to add a small cup. I know I don't want to, but I'm going to add a small metal cup for boiling water or making food or whatever. And then, so we're going to add the fire kit. We're going to add a small first aid kit. We're going to add that Ontario rack is going to go into this as well. That's going to be the designated knife for this bag that's never to be removed. It's going to solely be in this bag. And I think I said we're going to do a first aid kit. Make sure we got sunscreen. Make sure we got Benadryl, stuff like that can kill you. We're going to add hand and feet warmers as well. Guys, this is not a bushcraft. This is not a wilderness thing. This is survival. And the best way to survive, those hand and feet warmers. I've been out, guys, on a lot of cold nights. And I tell you, if you have them on your hands and feet, they will keep your whole body warm. So we're going to add those. They're lightweight, they're small, they're easy, they're portable, and they fit a need very, very well. So I could add 4 or 5 of them each, and that will be enough for a couple of days in the very, very cold. Especially when you get the good 12-hour ones. We're going to add a compass, of course, and then a few other maybe small things. A signal mirror, Fresnel lens, stuff like that. But that's that, guys. Pretty much, we're addressing the shelter, the water. We got food to a lesser extent. Like I said, bare basics. Just, we're not doing the macho thing here. Not at all. This is just plain survival. Meet those very, very basic needs. Be light, be portable, be able to go in a heartbeat. And I like that idea of being able to just fill up that bladder at every stream and go. Not stop and make a fire and boil water. Too much time, too much effort. Go. If I'm in a building, if I'm in a shelter, I can fill up that bag. If the water runs out, if the power goes out, I can carry water in this. I can carry a lot of water. It's like 70 ounces of water. I can carry a lot of water. I can carry a lot of stuff. I don't need a lot. No fancy wilderness tools, no saws, no axes, no this, no that, because they're not important. I can make a fire with just an ignition source. You don't need, the knife is enough. I just need something where I can get some small kindling. That's all I really need. But fire is not my primary form of survival. Fires don't happen when it's pouring rain and high winds. Fires don't happen certain conditions, so I'm not relying on it. It's that base thing. Shelter, quick, fast, easy. Fire, quick, fast, easy. Water, quick, fast, easy. Everything quick and fast and easy. So everything's simple, streamlined, so that I can go. So if I, got this, and It's also very discreet. I can keep this in my office. I can keep it under my desk. No one will bother with it. If I'm out hiking, no one will bother with it. They don't see it as a threat. If I'm out, whatever, say I'm walking downtown, whatever, I'm wearing something like this, nobody's ever going to notice this. If there's an emergency situation, it's not going to stand out. It looks like a normal backpack. Everybody has them. It's a cheap name brand, so people aren't going to think there's anything amazing in there. So there it is, guys. It's a work in progress. We're going to work on this a little bit more. I think I'm definitely going to probably add some garbage bags, maybe a couple waterproof sacks, probably gloves, hat and gloves, because they're big ones for that. But we're going to have this thing stuffed pretty full. But just wanted to show you the beginning of that project and how it is. I always have stuff going on here. I'm always working on new things and new projects, and I have a bug out bag. I'm not knocking them, but this is more appropriate for me. I think I want something that will fit for everything. I want it to be small enough to take on a day hike, small enough to go to the office, small enough to go in the car, small enough to go fishing, small enough to go on a boat, something I can take everywhere. And that's the idea. Your bug out bag doesn't travel well all the time. My bug out bag doesn't. There's a lot of stuff in there, and there's a lot of stuff I don't want to lose or get lost. It's expensive. And it's really more about leaving my house and going someplace else versus this is more of a utility, just what I need to survive. So I hope you guys get that philosophy and understand what I'm doing here with this and where I'm going. And I'll give you guys an update once I'm fully complete.